It is so simple, and I'm going to show you how we do it right now. For today, we are going to be using a tomato. You can save seeds from any vegetable you have in your garden. I plan on saving seeds from a lot of my peppers, but keep in mind, this you can do across the board. I have an entire guide. The guide is called The Art of Starting Seeds. This is kind of a lost art. A lot of us are so used to purchasing seeds. We're looking through these seed catalogs. You have all that you need to start your garden from this year's garden. I'll put that guide in the description below. It's so helpful. It takes you from saving your seeds from this year all the way to planting your seeds, how to store them. It also talks about if you want to buy seeds, how to know what seeds to buy, how to read the seed pack. Literally everything you need is going to be in this guide. Again, that's going to be in the description below. I just did a big harvest the other day of my Ace 55 and some of my other heirloom tomatoes. Today we're just going to pick some of our larger cherry tomatoes. This is going to be nice because you're going to be able to see exactly what we're looking for. You want to make sure when you harvest the tomato, you want to make sure it is ripe on the plant. You don't want to take it inside and let it ripen. You can do that. However, you want the seeds to get as mature as possible inside of that fruit or vegetable that you're harvesting them from. Right here we have the super sweet 100 cherry tomatoes. You can see that they are extremely red. They're not orange by any means. They're actually a little soft to the touch. So any of the ones that are soft to the touch, if I were just to pull these to eat and I wasn't saving the seeds, you can pull them a little sooner, they'd be fine. But we're looking for that very ripe tomato. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull this tomato. Again, these are the super sweet 100 cherry tomatoes. We're gonna go ahead and take this inside and we're gonna save the seeds. All right, so we have brought our cherry tomato inside and it's up to you. I know a lot of people will wash them. Honestly, I never really wash much of the things that come out of my garden. One thing is I'll pick them in the morning when the dew has just kind of dried off, so I know they've gotten a little bit of moisture, but I don't typically use anything that's not organic on my garden. So if you use like pesticides and all that stuff, I would recommend washing it, just because when you touch these seeds, that's gonna get on your seeds. For me, I just have this little guy. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make sure to take this off. Take the top off, you can compost that, whatever, and then we're gonna cut open this tomato. Grab yourself a sharp knife and go ahead and slice open the tomato. I usually do it on either side of the core. Then I'm going to use the tip of the knife to pull out the seeds. You can also just squish the tomato, but for here I wanted to show you what the seeds actually look like so you can see what is inside this tomato. Cherry tomatoes typically have a lot of seeds, which is why people don't use them for tomato sauce. But there you can see I just squished the tomato to get the rest out. Next, I'm going to label a paper towel. Then I'm going to put the seeds right inside this paper towel and I'm going to start absorbing all the moisture that I can. I'm going to do this by folding over the paper towel and applying some pressure. You can see here the moisture starting to come through. Then I'm going to open it up and fold it a different way just to absorb a little bit more moisture, and I'm going to continue to do this until the seeds are pretty dry on this paper towel. Once I see that they're mostly dry, I'm going to start moving them over to my labeled paper towel. It's so easy to move them once you've absorbed a lot of the moisture. You can see here it's mostly just the seeds, and then I can pick them up and move them right over to my labeled paper towel. I wish I could tell you guys that this is something that me and my parents or grandparents used to do when it brought back all these memories, but the truth is no one in my family has gardened or farmed. This is something my husband and I sought out with no experience. So if you're out there and you're thinking, I can't do it, no one in my family has ever done it, like this is crazy, trust me, My parents still think I'm nuts. You are not alone if you're in that same situation. I am first generation homesteader. That's what my husband and I always talk about. We were extremely poor, actually. We had no money. I remember, we talk about this now all the time, when we were first, like, I think when we got engaged, actually, there were times when we'd have less than like $300 in our bank account. I don't know how we did it, but you make do, and now you can look back at those moments and remember what that felt like and why you work so hard for the things that you do. That is it. So I put all of those seeds onto my labeled paper towel. I have most of all of the pulp and skin, everything off of the seeds. So from here, all I do is I typically get a paper plate and I'll write the name of the tomato on the paper plate as well, just to make sure everything kind of stays together. This is super fancy. This is what like the, you know, the most pristine seed companies do. So I got you. So I'm just gonna write super sweet 100 cherry tomatoes. One thing that I will like really say is important is to label everything anytime you move your seeds, because I've done it before and I have no idea what the seeds are. Like, you can pretty much tell if they're like tomato seeds or pepper seeds, but you're not gonna know the variety. And heck, half the time after I plant them, I forget to label them. And then I just have surprises all the time. And then I put this in a dry area. I don't put it right in the sun. You probably could, but I usually just put this like on top of my refrigerator or microwave or somewhere where I can check on them. What you'll do after this is, once you see that most of them are pretty much dry, you'll be able to notice. What I do is I'll either just like flip the paper towel over or something, and I'll move the seeds just so they have more area to dry, and anything that was like moist or left behind here, I want to make sure that doesn't stay on the seed. So then I'll flip it over, I'll let it dry for a little longer on that side, and then I do the break test. What that is I'll take a seed and I'll put it on a hard surface like a cutting board or your counter, and then you'll take like a spoon or something and push down on the seed. If it cracks and it sounds crunchy, that means that it's dry. If it slips out from under the spoon or just mushes, that means it's not dry yet. So you do not want to store that, because that is going to start to mold in whatever you're storing it in, and then those seeds are no good. So if you're doing all of this work, you definitely want to just take your time, don't rush it. You have plenty of time for these seeds to dry. That's what I do. And then again, when you put it in Ziploc bags, you can get seed bags on Amazon, whatever you put it in, label it again, make sure all of your labeling is consistent so that when you go to plant, you know what you're planting. That's pretty much it for drying seeds. Again, I have a whole guide that I created on starting your seeds, either if you're drying or if you're gonna buy seeds, how to start those. Everything that you would need is gonna be in that guide. It'll be in the description below. I hope this is helpful. Again, you don't need any fancy equipment, obviously. It's just paper towels, and you don't even need a paper plate. I just do that because I would probably just pick this up, not even thinking about it, and all those seeds would fall off. So I put it on a paper plate, put it wherever, and then just wait for those to dry. Before planting these, before like this is going to be your garden, is I would do a test. So I would take a few seeds, put them in some really good soil, and then just make sure that they're germinating. I would hate for you to save seeds and you're assuming that's gonna be your entire garden. So when garden season comes, you plant all these and for some reason it didn't work. So just do a test before you rely on all of your seeds. I'm sure they'll germinate. They do it on their own in the wild anyways. You're just kind of helping them along here. I hope this is helpful. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video.